I have faith that the Constitution will be saved as prophesied by Joseph Smith. But it will not be saved in Washington.
We have the testimonies of many pioneers that the power they received from being bound to Christ. A vocal minority oppose institutional authority and insist that persons should be free from any restrictions that limit their individual freedom. Yet we know from millennia of experience that persons give up some individual freedoms to gain the advantages of living in organized communities.
Yoke yourself to Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ will govern from Old Jerusalem and the New Jerusalem, built upon the American continent.
Travis Wayne Goodsall. As I promised in the description below in the previous video this morning, we're going to do DNC 101 with 19 July 1840. I checked the church news, still nothing yet, which why my associative memory went to section 101. However, I did find that there are 9 people who have been added to the Sunday School General Advisory Councils. It's a make-work project for the church, and the church can do this because it's all free labor. You know, sure, you want to help? Great. We're not paying you. And so, looking over the qualifications of those who will now be responsible for the Sunday school program and thus be involved in manuals with the particular department that makes the manuals, they have no qualifications. None. They're all listed as having read from manuals in various church callings. So now they're going to help. It doesn't take much to teach people how to read a manual. You just got to provide the manual. Dear God, just pathetic. I mean, seriously. There is no insight that they're going to be able to provide because they're not allowed to. It has to be read the manual. It's not, well, even school. The teacher had a curriculum that she was ordered to teach, and she really had no leeway to actually teach kids according to their understanding. And that's why you have a remedial class, and then a class that ends up in psycho's room, getting indoctrinated to be bullies and continue to be victimized by bullies. Real sad. So, no, my videos are very clear. I don't read scriptures to you. Just read scriptures. No, we go over it. We explain it. I teach you how to learn how to learn. There's a massive night and day difference between those people who are now thinking that they're helping build the kingdom for Jesus is going to murder people. Isn't that great? So the parable in section 101, it's a prophecy of the latter days. And so, as this is the last day of tabernacles for the Exodus, Mormons missed it, Mormons don't believe. It's very obvious Mormons don't believe. If they're going to accept callings in the Sunday school because they're an expert at reading a manual, yeah, they don't believe that it's supposed to be Jewish. The scriptures are all Jewish, not Christian. You're not supposed to use Jesus in them. Even if you see the name Jesus, it's not Jesus of Christianity. It's the Jewish Christ of latter-day prophecy, written during the Roman period of time. And the Book of Mormon likewise, not literal history, because now you've said that it's just like Constantine's First Creed, which Joseph said was abominable. But now you've turned Joseph abominable as Christian. This is the depths of evil of this church. They keep you dumb. And they employ people who are dumb and are examples of dumbness to perpetuate the dumbness cycle. It's in the Book of Mormon. Didn't you see that in the manual? There's this other pride cycle. That's incorrect. It's the dumb cycle. Seriously. It's not the pride cycle, it's the dumb cycle. They never pull out. They never get smart. They are never righteous. They're still dumb. That's the thing with the pride cycle. It was written by a seminary teacher for the CES manuals that he himself had to read from. See, there's so much stuff that they don't let you in on. They're not telling you. Dumb people make the manuals in the church. It's not God coming down and writing it. Here you go, I got a new manual for you guys. It's people who don't get an education, except at BYU, which, yeah, they still don't get an education. Anybody who gets an education at a church-sponsored, owned and operated school are not getting an education. None of your credits count anywhere else in the world that has intelligence for their university. All my credits at Rick's did not count at the University of Lethbridge. That was the first thing the guidance counselor told me when I went in. None of your credits count at the Rick's. Oh, okay, whatever. I went into those classes because my parents were paying for it, and they were paying for all of the curriculum books, the textbooks, so I don't care. And so this parable is about right now. That's why I was associative memory, told me to do it for you. Nobody cares, nobody believes. Everybody gets upset with me because my beaten tone. You do not understand how frustrated I am. How incredibly pissed off I am. My whole life, I want to go to Zion. I grow up among white supremacist Christian nationalist peers. I want nothing to do with them. The abuse that I heard from their lips as a little kid appalled and scared and horrified me. I didn't want to hang out with any of them. When I went to Rick's, wow, look at all these Mormon girls. And then I had to go on a mission. And then I came back, and none of the Mormon girls wanted to be around me. When I wasn't a returned missionary, all these Mormon girls wanted to do stuff with me. And then when I come home, they all run away and hide. And then I moved to Utah after oh God. And I thought, oh, this will be awesome. I'm in Mormonville, like-minded Mormons. I'll be able to, converse and feel safe here in the valley of Jesus. It's worse. Because Mormons know better, and they're still murdering, raping, stealing, cooing the government, smearing poop on the walls of the Capitol. This is just an utter nightmare for me. So no, this is not Zion here in Utah. Nobody feels safe in Utah. Nobody feels at peace in Utah. This is not a refuge in Utah. Therefore, this is not Zion. Mormons are not pure in heart. Very obvious and blatant and in your face. As road rage is on the rampage right now. And so the question is Joseph Smith a true prophet or is he a false prophet, Mormons? You're about to decide, and so far you're going to turn him into a false prophet. Bad enough that you turned him Christian, now you're going to turn him into a false Jewish prophet. Other than that you are wicked, and he was right on the nose on that one. And so, first he talks about beginning to set up Zion during his time, because that's who he is. He's the founder of our religion, and thus is setting things up for the latter days with the coming of the man like Moses of the Jewish Christ, who would be a Mormon, in case you've missed those videos of my 8+K. And so, he then talks about 49, that comes very plagiaristic of Judas. Might not this money be given to the exchangers on the stock market? And we can get an SEC violation for and have to pay the minimum normal price of $5 million. And then sue our insurance company to try to get that money back. I mean, you cannot make this up. I mean, seriously. Dear God. See, the church right now, they're in their meeting that they hold every Thursdays. They've been in for an hour. Most likely they go overtime, but Nelson's on his deathbed. Others are frail and infirm. So maybe it was only 30 minutes today, and they've all gone home now and are taking their little nap. Popping all those pills. Dear God. Anyway. And so, Joseph Smith called it. They're at variance one with another. They become slothful. They're not hearkening to the commandments of their Lord that they claim from Joseph Smith. They are following a different Lord. If you're not following the commandments of the Jewish Christ, you're following another person. Even if you make them up in your mind. Section 1, verse 16. I know what I'm talking about. So here we go. Since Mormons have missed the Exodus and have not caused the fall of the great and abominable church, for Mormons to fight against each other, the enemy will come by night for the election, or any time thereafter, depending on which plan they have to implement. They've got backup plans. They will not allow Harris to win. I don't understand why Sherry Swinston quit. It can't be because she was threatened to make sure that the votes are for Trump, because everybody knows Utah's going to vote for Trump. So I don't know why she quit. And so now we got this little teenage girl. I don't even know if she's even graduated from high school. But they put her in, and she didn't give me my vote, my ballot. Didn't get it. She was notified of the change of address several times. She ignored me. Didn't send me my ballot. Where was Sherry? What happened? What the hell? You're still young, Sherry. There's no reason for you to quit. You were awesome. You know, I let her know that I had a change of address. Boom, she immediately replied, not just took care of the matter. To say that it's all taken care of. If there's any other concerns, please let me know. She was awesome. What the hell is this little girl doing now? Kick her out. I know exactly what was going on. The church put her in, just like the church put in the new magistrate justice after getting rid of the other one. I see the patterns. And so, yeah, this whole valley is going to be destroyed in the coming days. 12 days left, guys. If you're going to believe that the scriptures are true, you've got to believe the scriptures are true. Let me read this to you, Mormons. You who say with your lips that the scriptures are true. This is a parable about a prophecy of the latter days. The enemy came by night and broke down the hedge, and the servants of the noblemen, that's the leaders, the corporate board, arose and were affrighted and fled. They're going to abandon you. That's why I used to do the videos of they're leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again. He wants to know if he can stay in the White Horse. The White House. Oh, White House. You have to know your pop culture entertainment if you're going to understand me. Armageddon. Bruce Willis. We miss you, Bruce. Hope you're doing well. And the enemy destroyed their works. Oh, spiritual witness feeling testimonies? I wish. And broke down the 12 olive trees. I wonder what the 12 olive trees symbolize in this parable. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the 12 tribes of Israel. So the nobleman returns after the damage has been done. His second coming. He didn't do it, the enemy did it. Did you notice that? Do you notice this, Mormons? The church tells you Jesus is going to do the destruction. Joseph Smith, a second time, first in his 1838, which technically makes it the second time, with the second vision. adds to Malachi, they that come shall burn you. Utterly destroyed, precisely as it stands in our New Testament. And here again, the enemy came by night, but the Lord is somebody else. You got to pay attention to this when you read. You can't just trust a manual. It should have been footnoted, Bruce. So those of you who are listening and those of you who are trying to study from me to learn how to learn, yeah. 51, we need to put footnote A, get rid of hedge, put it on enemy, and then footnote it to Joseph Smith History 1, I don't know why 1, it's just a straight text, verse 40, or not 40. Hold on. Just I have to type in 1 in this. Okay. They that come shall burn them. 37. Verse 37. And then likewise in 37, footnote it back to section 101. That's how they should have done it if they knew how to do more than just read the manuals. Because the ones who were doing the original footnoting were from seminary and institute at BYU. That's the best the church could do for the original footnoting. And they didn't do much better with the second time around, other than they got me. And then they denied a lot of my stuff. No, it's Jesus! No, it was homosexuality! We're supposed to stick to the scriptures. We're not supposed to create our own doctrines in the footnotes. David? No, David. And yeah, 16 years he was a seminary teacher at that point. And so, now behold, the nobleman, the Lord of the vineyard, in case you don't know who the nobleman is, called upon his servants and said unto them, why? There's an exclamation point here, not a question mark. Go, Joseph. What is the cause of this great evil? He's pissed at these prophets. And I really would like to be doing that Curse of Joseph Smith final video. God. Somebody dropped the ball up there. Are you taking a piss? I did my part this year. On both days. Poured the water all over the altar and then lit the altar on fire. Not as impressive as when I parted the waters in 2020, but still. Ought ye not to have done as I had commanded you? And so then he rambles on about repeating stuff. And I'm sure it's Joseph's attempt to try to use chiasmus that he learned from the late war, from his school. Oops, went down too far. See, there's the late war, guys. That's from Joseph. Joseph, late war. That was his textbook in school. There it is, right there. Breaking news, live. Joseph Smith had nothing to do with the composition of the Book of Mormon. Sidney Rigdon, well, it depends on which part in the Book of Mormon the late war comes from. I think there's a lot of Almas, aren't there, for the late war? That would be Sidney Rigdon mingled with Oliver Cowdery, but it's unclear as to which particular verses are Oliver Cowdery's, other than the faith concept was Oliver Cowdery's. Alma 32. That was contributed by Oliver Cowdery. Let's see. So the Lord of the vineyard said unto one of his servants. So which one is it? Is it David Bednar, who lied to you yesterday? Maybe it's Holland, who also lies for the Lord. Who could it be? I don't know. Let's find out. Read. Go and gather together the residue of my servants, and take all the strength of mine house, which are my warriors. I am the warrior. My young men, and they that are of middle age, and also among all my servants, who are the strength of mine house. So the Salt Lake Valley is utterly destroyed. So now he's gathering. Should I put quotes? Should I speak slower? Who has the keys of the Exodus gathering of the latter days? Give you a hint. Verse 40 in the Joseph Smith history. And the section 110 for the Kirtland Temple dedication, or not the dedication, the vision account. And section 107 verse 91. That's who that guy is. He's the one mighty and strong. So you have to have all these footnoted. Deuteronomy 18, 15 through 19 is the source. And from there, you need to branch out. David wanted to have a little scripture chase chain. It doesn't work if you're from the others. It's just, no. Go back to reading your manual to the kids. God, Jesus. What the hell? Homosexuality. Oh my God, that was a gimme. And yet, he revealed he's a bigot. And so it's in there still because they're bigots. It had nothing to do with homosexuality. It was put in there because it was during the Roman period time to show you of the Roman period evils for the latter days in prophecy. Lot. Story of Lot, Sodom and Gomorrah. So Ezekiel 16. Ezekiel 16. You have to scroll way down to find it. This is the sin of Sodom. They neglected the poor. Right? Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So yeah, when you're the enemy, you blame other people. And so this is the gathering. This is what this is right here that is now in vain. Piss me off. Now there's going to be bugs. I even found a scripture last night. Don't go in haste. Go in order. And go ye straightway unto the land of my vineyard, Zion, and redeem my vineyard, Zion, for it is mine. I have bought it through the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar have the receipts. They bought it with money, with the Egyptian gold treasure plates that they were told never to sell for money, or they would be destroyed. buried him in the caves in Zion. To the east of Little Egypt. And so, as I read to you in the previous video about section 45, that those who are not in Zion will have to fight for their survival. That's how bad it's going to get this election. You know, dogs and cats, yeah, they're not even living together anymore. This is how bad it gets. Hinckley knew what he was talking about when he said that this will be the worst event that the world has ever known. So you better pay your tithing. Even though Bruce said, yeah, we have no guarantees you're going to survive this nuclear holocaust. But just trust in the Lord. Keep paying your tithing. Power of the priesthood. Well, if there's no guarantee, why are you talking about power of the priesthood to save us? Why are you speculating about that? You told us there's no guarantee. Bruce. And so, yeah, this is what 57 means in this context. So you should have... They don't. Good God. Why am I not surprised that they don't have section 45 footnoted here for you? They have section 103. Good for you! But 55, no, they skip further on down. They make it Joseph Smith, don't you? Isn't that verse 21? Verily, verily, I say unto you that my servant Joseph Smith June is the man to whom I liken the servant to whom the Lord of the vineyard spake in the parable which I have given to you. No, it's the beginning, the founding, not the latter days. Oh my hell. See, this is the kind of quality you're going to get from these new Sunday school teachers, readers of manuals. Oh my hell. Section 45. This is the latter day man like Moses. Oh dear God. I have to do everything all over again. If you want something done right, you literally have to do it yourself. Oh my hell. So where did I leave off here? Said unto one of his servants, go and gather. Oh my God, it's right at the beginning. It's 43, isn't it? That's where it starts? Yeah. See, 44. And he said unto his servants. That's where section 103, verse 21 should have been put. That you, Joseph, are one of those servants. That's where it should have been put. They're purposely not putting 103, verse 16. The man like Moses. See, now they're calling Joseph Smith the man like Moses. This is how they botched it, because Mormons are going to trust that they need to study the footnotes, and it's official doctrine because it's in the footnotes. And I've heard many a teacher say that, because the manual says to refer to a specific footnote. So they go, well, this is the official scripture on this. So I say unto you, the redemption of Zion in the latter days must needs come by power. Therefore, I will, in the future, beyond Joseph Smith, raise up unto Mormons a man who shall lead Mormons like as Moses, the Jewish Christ. See how they botched this? On purpose. And now you've got Mormons who think Joseph Smith is going to resurrect from the grave as a zombie to do all this. I just want to scream. Doesn't help that people then quote from Danites. Oh yeah, I heard Joseph Smith. Yeah, he was going to come back from the dead and be the man like Moses. That's what I heard. Pass it along. Now it becomes a Mormon myth. Dear God, guys, because the one that didn't get published, 19 July 1840, again, exposes another Mormon myth and the origin source of the real wording by Joseph. It's coming. We're already at 33, 34, oh wow, 33, 33. So we've still got 10 more hours to go for this video. You notice that this week after the big incident and yet there's still, I mean, seriously, oh my hell, why is our government failing us? They're pacifying me by saying, fine, Travis, we'll talk to YouTube for you. Would that make you feel better? Your algorithms still have you punished with low views, but are you feeling better that you can now watch YouTube videos? Bleep you. This church is going to coup, and they're going to murder you, Mr. FBI agent. That's what none of these guys get. It's all just a WWE show until somebody starts shooting. And then all of a sudden, hey, wait a minute. What did you think they were talking about? You thought it wasn't going to be real? And just all this whole time, from 2016 to 2020, and now, they're all saying, oh no, he would never cross that line. He's just kidding. He would never go that far. He's learned his lesson. He won't do it again. He won't get worse. They've condemned us for calling and comparing him to Hitler. So we won't do it again. Now he comes out and says it. Just unbelievable. And I don't understand this. I mean, seriously, the FBI is trying to scare us that, oh no, Iran is making threats to Trump. Iran was doing business with Trump. They're not enemies. Why are you doing this to us? It's bad enough that Trump supposedly had his ear blown off, blood everywhere, and then he's magically healed? Not even a scar, huh? Dear God. And then the other guy wasn't even firing a shot. It's just, I'm just... And so, yes, this is what's going to happen. And I have no idea how this is going to happen. Nobody believes. And it'll have to be people, as I'm going around looking for survivors, and they're going to say, what happened? I thought the church was true. Yeah, well, you never read your scriptures, did you? What? They have words? I thought we were just supposed to listen to the teacher who reads from a manual. And so, yes, there's going to have to be violence in that case in order to get to Zion, to secure the land and start building Zion. Because you didn't go when the church fell, because you didn't go up against the church to say, hey, talking to our children about sexually graphic stuff is inappropriate, especially when you're raping them. Yeah, you did it for protect LDS children, and then you stopped. You got to keep going. Everything. For everything. Ordained women, what happened? Oh, they excommunicated Kate Kelly, and so you stopped? Oh, they put you in councils, and so you stopped? They let you wear slacks on your mission, so you stopped? You don't get a veil anymore in the temple, even though the veil originally was a good thing, not a bad thing. That was a Muslim thing that changed it into a bad thing. Symbol of sex slavery and trafficking. But, I mean, seriously, dear God, and polygamy, can't forget polygamy. We're just like Muslims. They did a pamphlet. God. And so, yes, I understand you guys memorize. You don't have associative memory. And so you're not able to put all the pieces together unless you actually put all the pieces together, because you have to do it on a paper or a thing like that. Say, I only do that when I have to memorize something, quote. But that's how you do your research, guys. Everything in their chronological order, all the different names, all the different locations, all the dates, all the events. So that you don't make stupid errors. Dear God, I never expected this to be that poorly done. I just expected that they would just skip it, that they wouldn't actually reference the wrong person. God. Okay. And so, yeah, this is what happens. Section 45. This is what you got to put in here. Break down the walls of mine enemies, throw down their tower, scatter their watchmen. Avenge me of my enemies. Because you didn't expose this church. You didn't listen to me. And so the enemy will come and utterly destroy this land. They will not allow Harris to win. July 1840. One of the reasons why Brigham Young didn't publish this as in the 1844 Doctrine and Covenants was because a woman was the clerk who wrote this down, or the scribe, I guess we call him. Section 101 was in 1833, December 16th. So this was way back in the beginning. Section 103, in case you're wondering, 1834 in February 24. And so, again, they botched it. Remember? Well, no, they didn't. Yeah, because this says refer back to the, yeah, okay, we're good. So they didn't botch that. They botched it being Joseph. Joseph is at the beginning in 44. So Joseph Smith, 19 July 1840. He's again out of prison, framed and blamed by the Danites to get him out of the way so that Brigham can run the church. Brigham Young had gotten rid of Thomas B. Marsh and exalted himself to be the president of the 12 by a vote of a majority to conduct business. Remember, section 107, It's not a sustaining vote. It's an actual vote. All quorums were supposed to do that. So even for the first presidency, when Joseph Smith is dead, the whole Melchizedek priesthood were supposed to gather in conclave and actually vote for 3 replacements, not one who gets to choose 2 counselors, or one and then we chooses 2 counselors by vote. No, they're all presidents. Counselors are counselors, presidents are presidents. A counselor is not a president. A president is not a counselor. Not complicated. See how they're screwing up definitions of words in this church. Dear God. Next you'll be saying that a testimony is a spiritual witness feeling. Oh, they do? So the enemy. Here we go again. 3 times Joseph Smith says it's not Jesus. The enemy shall come as a thief in the night. And Royal Skousen botched it. He had no clue that this comes from section 101, verse 51. And seriously. I do have the full document on academia.edu in case you want to get it, and then footnote it into a chapter and verse with footnotes at the bottom. And if you do that, please send me a copy of it. You better do it right. And so yes, you'll also see that I also have the complete works of Joseph Smith, which needs work. And so yes, if you feel inclined to do the work, great. Just email me and provide it for me. I'd appreciate it, because that's what needs to be done to it. It's a low priority. I'm trying to convince Mormons that they're all doomed and they're all going to die. They don't care. We're eating, drinking, and getting married, and then getting divorced, and murdering them, and hiding their bodies, and going to prison without a body, running them over with a car at the airport, shooting them. This is not the Joseph's church. So, Joseph then continues on. This is 7 years later. The 12 olive trees are scattered abroad. Yeah, Mormons are already scattered all over the world. And so this is going to wake up the nations of the whole earth once this valley is utterly destroyed. Yeah, it would make big news. But that would indicate that it has nothing to do with the election, but it does. That's why the whole world will definitely know of it. Because among the destruction, the news will be covering the destruction here in this valley, not just all over this nation. So the nations of the whole earth will be watching their TV sets just like they did for 8 April 2024. Just as scripture prophecy of the Jews said, the whole world will all see it together. And I never understood that before. How is the whole world going to see a sign in the heavens which is specific to a specific place on earth? Sure enough, the miracle of TV, created in Rigby, Idaho, or Rigby, Idaho, boys. They do have the sign there as you enter into Rigby. Rigby, the birthplace of television. So the whole earth, even this nation, will be on the very verge of crumbling to pieces and tumbling to the ground. See the damage that Oaks exposed or got leaked? You can't trust sister missionaries. They tattle, tattle, tattle. And they don't realize it. I think the church is true, that you have your mantle. And I have that clip somewhere. Oaks. Whenever I appear to Mormons, they are so blinded by my mantle that I can say whatever I want. Yep. Except they record you. And so guys like me, who don't fall for your fake mantle, pick up on it. Oh, dear God. So here's the real quote from that dispels the Mormon myth. You heard hang by a thread. That was Brigham, wasn't it? Or quoted from Heber of Brigham. Yeah, no. Wrong. But it does mean they know all about this and they refuse to publish it. That's what that means. And I'll tell you why, because Joseph exposes who the enemy is. And Oaks got leaked. When the Constitution is upon the brink of ruin. And so, yes, we're saving the Constitution by overthrowing it. Yeah, Roe v. Wade overthrew 14th Amendment, Section 1. Give you a clue, you're going to have to read to understand how. Religious freedom that the church pushes overthrows the First Amendment. And so the Respect for Marriage Act overthrew the First Amendment. How? Because the church put in their exemption clause. Oh, Nancy got punked. Yeah, the church sure showed her. All of you people who think that the church is turning progressive, oh my hell. And so yes, obviously, January 6th, yeah, we overthrew 14th Amendment, Section 3. And there was a whole debt crisis that we had last year. Yeah, that's Section 2 of the 14th Amendment. Kind of helps to know what the Constitution says before you go into government office and then start making laws up. I know, let's make up this law. Okay. Oh, we're judges of the Supreme Court. Hey, don't we make up our own laws? Yep. And there's some church involvement in all of this. Don't think that they're not involved. Oaks said they're involved. I already told you they were involved. I made the connections. I followed the money. And then, boom, Oaks got leaks and said, yeah, this is what we're going to do. Travis is going to be right. You should have listened to Travis, but you didn't. And so now the Constitution is on the brink of ruin. All of Democrat voters for Harris, single cat ladies, are all excited. Yay, we're going to vote for Harris and we're going to win our rights back. You did not learn from Normandy. Why was Normandy such a big deal? Because we got a foothold. Once you get a foothold, it now becomes harder to get rid of the enemy. The enemy has already gotten their foothold. Now they're just toying with you, using psychology manipulation. And so, where it says, this people will be the staff upon which the nations shall lean, and they shall bear away the Constitution from the very verge of destruction, that has to do with a man like Moses. Section 45, the parable of the man like Moses. because you did not go in advance. You didn't go in 2020, and you're not going now. And so, boom, Mulek. 9th Ave, temple's destroyed, the Jews have to flee if they don't get caught and carried captive into Babylon. And so the Book of Mormon specifically puts that in there and uses the character name Mulek. And you all think it's literal history, and you debate whether he was real or not. No, it's a prophecy for the latter days. That's what they're talking about. Section 101. You're wicked. You got utterly destroyed. The man like Moses somehow survives. I don't know how I'm going to survive. It'll have to be a miracle. Literally. Getting released from the church's bondage was a miracle. It'll have to be something like that. They were trying to murder me. It's a miracle I'm still alive. So many miracles in my life. My existence is a miracle. My birth was a miracle. The enemy never saw me coming, just like the Spanish Inquisition. Nobody ever expects the Spanish Inquisition. Monty Python Flying Circus. Everybody knows that one, don't they? Do I have to explain that one? It's a classic. Then shall the Lord go and tell all my servants who are the strength of mine house, my young men and my middle age. See, he's following section 101. He just adds in, when the Constitution is upon the brink of ruin, that all the nations will be watching the news about the fall of America. God, I'm going to cry. What the bleep was the whole purpose of the Declaration of Independence, the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, the Civil War, so that we can just be cooed. You have to follow the Constitution. Nobody did. And now it's on the brink of ruin. Nobody is following it. Nobody's adhering to it who have sworn an oath. We're about to fall. This is going to be the biggest news ever. Talk about Palestinians cheering when somebody bombs Israel. And so this is where we have to fight for our survival, and fight our way to Zion, and fight to have a land to live on, to build, so that this won't be in vain. That my 6 years of bondage to the church, where they tried to murder me, disappeared me from life, where I got inspiration after the Hinckley dream to build, design, and run Zion, will not be in vain. So then Joseph takes a break. He's cooling off. I need a dew. And I'm conflicted on that. 7 days now, 1 a.m., except for last night, but that's only because I stayed up till midnight. But it was only for the 3 hours, woke up at 3. Which, if I had fallen asleep at 10, like I wanted to, would have been 1 o'clock. Again, 7 days in a row. You know, you'd think I'm going to start hallucinating soon. from the lack of sleep. And, yes, I changed to cans because Smith's is being an ass. The whole point of getting the Smith's Rewards card was so that when you purchase an item, it goes into their system and they go, oh, okay, this person buys this product. We will put that product on sale for this person so that they will buy that product more. Because that's how you make money. You lower the prices and people spend more. You raise the prices, you get less people buying. And this never clicks to people who are greedy. They think, oh, if we raise the price real high, we'll make so much money. No! Nobody's going to buy it. They're going to try to steal it if they really want it. And then it goes into the underground market. No, if you want something to make you a lot of money, you sell it low. But creator after creator of a new product think that they've got to make it as high as possible when they first put it out and then they'll make the most amount of money. No. Once you put out a new product, you make it low. And more people will be more inclined to buy it and buy more of it and recommend it to others to get it. It's the one thing that's weird because you have to factor in the human mind. And greed takes over a person and they can't figure this out. And their business collapses and their product ends up a pile of dust in a warehouse. Right, Disney? So, yeah, Disney should be raking in the dough. They should be a multi-trillion dollar company. They are botching it big time. They cannot figure out how to run their business. They keep having failure after failure after failure, and they don't understand why. They thought, well, we've got a streaming site now. What's going on? They had merchandising in the beginning, and they can't figure out why aren't people buying all our merchandise? Why is it just a few people? Because you jacked up the price. This is the problem of a monopoly. Disney wanted to be a monopoly. And they never understood they could be so much richer. Amazon. Yeah, sort of. You sort of got it, but not. You see, he could have the whole thing run by robotic automation. And people have been scared that he was going to do that. And in many cases he does. But he treats his employees as crap. He even got leaked saying, yeah, they're all dumbasses. They need to be put into slavery. And so, yes, you hear the horror stories of how they have to pee where they work. Oh, God. And so, yeah, it's just, this is why our government has failed us. People were supposed to be able to take these companies to court, and instead they say, no. The corporations bought out the justice system. And so now it's civil courts. And so you can't go to civil court because the companies have all the lawyers and you got screwed. I'm just going on tangents here and we're already in an hour. That's why the Book of Mormon says no economy. If you have any kind of economy, your system will fall. That's what we're witnessing. Congress refused to do their job and regulate the economy, and therefore they let corporations take over, and become monopolies and become so powerfully rich that it's created a wealth gap. And people are suffering, people are dying, and our government's not stepping in to do anything. And they're leaving it to the states to handle. And then they complain, oh, we're not going to have enough Social Security. Oh no, Project 2025 is going to do away with Social Security. I saw a news article last night. Dear God, how dense they forget when they reported it. Even Senator Lee is one who wants to do away with Social Security. This used to be the mantra MAGA call chant, to do away with Social Security. Get rid of it. Put all the elderly and the homeless and the unemployed back to work. And somebody was saying yesterday that Trump was wanting to cut back on Social Security. And I'm just banging my head and going, oh my hell, you guys reported it and now you've forgotten? And you're all panicked that he wants to cut back on Social Security? Forgotten your reporting on his book on what he does as his strategy of the art of the deal? I mean, granted, I have associative memory, and they only read from the script for their show. But they have people working for them who are supposed to do this research, just like Rachel Maddow's team does for her, and now she's only once a week. There's some kind of a problem that happened. Rachel Maddow was the cash cow for MSNBC, and they got rid of her. She's now only doing Mondays. What's up with that, MSNBC? Are you not wanting to make money? I'm serious. The best thing that has ever come out for a news reporter who actually does her investigation, tying things together. And yes, she got mocked for it by MAGA, but that's how it's supposed to be done. That's why MAGA doesn't do it on Fox or Newsmax or Orion, whatever. One Trump. Nobody gets it. Dear God. Anyway. So, now we're going to find out who the enemy is and why Brigham Young did not want this published ever, but knew of it and purposely changed. Constitution is upon the brink of ruin to hang by a thread. Before this, the time shall be when these who are now my friends, he's speaking to a group that had at least the Quorum of the 12 and Brigham Young in the audience. I'm not sure if it was members or if it was priesthood. I'd have to go back and check, but you can search through and find it in the complete works of Joseph Smith while you're fixing it for me and putting footnotes, then sending me a copy. See, these are all the things that I have to do in Zion. I have a whole book volume set of items to do if I ever get to Zion, and we're not going apparently. Jesus is coming. He'll save us. I'm not going with you. I don't like your beaten tone, and you're ugly, and your room's a mess. Yeah, so is yours. You're lying under it. I'm trying to pull you out. Shut up and help me. I saw that one video of yours. You're an anti-Mormon, antichrist, apostate, whore. Don't touch me. You're bleeding. It's gushing blood. I gotta stop the bleeding. Don't touch me. pervert, rape. Fine, die. I'd rather die than be saved by you. Those who are now my friends shall become my enemies, and shall seek to take my life. Well, that could have been anybody in the audience, Jeff. It says it means 12 apostles. Keep reading. And there are those now before me. Here comes the prophecy. Who will more furiously pursue me, more diligently seek my life, and be more bloodthirsty upon my track than ever were the Danites, Missouri mobbers. You say among yourselves, as did them of old time. Here it is. This is how we know who the enemy is. Mark chapter 14, concerning the Last Supper, not the others, because only Mark has the exact quote, "Is it I, and is it I?" Mark, Mars. Nelson, Russell, red. Marion, star of the sea. Red, star of the sea. Mars, husband of Venus. Venus, symbol of the inverted pentagram of Lucifer. The bride of Mars. Lucifer. How did the Book of Mormon know? Joseph Smith Sr. How did he know? But I know these things by the visions of the Almighty. And thus it was never published by Brigham Young. Joseph Smith should have had this published with the New Doctrine and Covenants, along with the Book of Abraham, facsimile Book of Abraham, and the history, 1838 history, visionary accounts. Having a New Doctrine and Covenants for 1840. That would have prevented a lot of the problems that Brigham Young was able to exploit. So this is scripture. It needs to be included because you'd see the tie-ins with already canonized scripture. This alone shows that Brigham Young is not authorized to lead the church. And Brigham Young fulfilled this as prophecy. Paid the Judas price to have Joseph Smith murdered in Carthage jail. He and his church are the enemy that are now cooing this nation to overthrow the government. Joseph Smith knew. He warned you. You didn't listen. Now we're all going to die. And then nobody's going to want me to help them